Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to talk a little bit about the RSI, and quite a common misconception with the RSI is that when we are so overbought like this, especially on the daily time frame, people then do expect a massive correction to the downside in price. So people now, as they see the price and the RSI both pumping together like this and the RSI so overbought on the daily time frame, people are now expecting price to come down and come and set brand new lows. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I do think it's quite unlikely, and I'm going to explain why using past examples with the RSI. And what I'm seeing here for Bitcoin is very, very similar to, in my opinion, what we had happen back in the middle of 2019, heading into the summer of 2019. So what I'm going to do is just show you an example right now, going back in the past to when the RSI was so overbought, but that was actually just the beginning of the move. So if we just take a zoom in here and have a look here at the RSI, imagine all of the people right here for Bitcoin that said, you know what, we've got a massive pump to the upside. The RSI is so overbought, we need to correct so hard now and go set new lows. They would have missed out on most of the move, because when we do enter the overbought territory on the RSI and on the oversold territory, that is when the most of the move happens. If you can see here, let me just get that off the screen there. Have a look at when the most of this major move to the upside for Bitcoin actually occurred. It was not here. It was definitely not here. It seriously was not here. It was actually on the fourth overbought on the RSI. It took 4 waves there to get the RSI and this price movement to the upside. And again, with the downside movement, we get the same thing. People who was buying here would have got a bit of short-term relief to the upside, but overall would have again lost money. That's why I think Elliott wave is a really, really nice sign and a really nice way to analyze the market. So if we just have a look at the current Bitcoin price, massive pump, in my opinion, very similar to what we had happen in 2019, where we have actually now broken the RSI on the daily time frame, going all the way back to 2021 here. We've broken that RSI trend to the upside. So as people are now expecting a massive crash in Bitcoin, and although I do think we do need a bit of a pullback, I don't think we're going to go quite as deep as people are expecting. What I would be expecting now for Bitcoin is, as we do begin to correct this RSI and begin to come back down in some waves like this, like we've seen in the past, I would expect us to stay above this trend line, keep getting waves like this, and perhaps we get the 4 waves like we got back in 2019, because this move is very, very similar, in my opinion, to the move that we had happen back here. Very, very similar market sentiment, although I was not around in the market back in 2019. I really wish I was. It was late 2020 when I got into the market. I've heard that it was very, very similar sentiment from some major accounts on Twitter. I do like to follow some major accounts on Twitter, because these people can tell us what times was like and what sentiment was like back here if we was not in the market, which I wasn't. So we just have to take their word for it. What I can see happening here for Bitcoin is, let's say we do get a nice little correction on the shorter time period, something like this. Let's say we go and set new highs, come back down, go and set new highs, come back down. I still would not expect us to go that deep. I would actually be expecting us to do somewhat of a nice flat correction, something like this. Bring the RSI down, keep monitoring in waves, because everyone right now is waiting for that 18,000, 17,000 Bitcoin, just like everyone was waiting down here for 13,000, 12,000, 10,000. And I don't think we're going to get it. Once again, I think it's going to absolutely mess up a lot of traders here. Although we do have a nice structure here, that could just take us into a nice 5th wave to the upside. Get a nice 3 wave correction, something like this. And we just absolutely totally miss out on these targets to the downside that everyone's looking for. Everyone wants that second chance now to get in, and I don't think it is likely for Bitcoin to give these market participants much of a chance to get back in. If we are having a nice bullish wave to the upside, which I'm absolutely not promising anything here. But for me, my major concerns are where are the pullbacks going to go to? Because I think it's not going to go as deep as people are expecting. And if you can imagine, let's go back here, remove the drawings off here, have a look at that. We had exactly the same thing back in 2019. Break the trend, of the RSI on the daily time frame to the upside, and we then hover in them 4 waves going on to set the high. So what I can imagine happening is, like I said earlier, get that trend line to the downside. Although I do think we get a bit of correction, something like this, and we get our high at some point in the middle of summer, in my opinion, and then we just have to try and figure out how high is this wave going to go. So what we can do is, whether we are getting an impulse to the upside for new highs or an ABC correction to the upside for just a retracement, I'm going to play the game where we expect the least. So I'm going to go ahead and say that if we do get a nice 3 wave move back to the upside, and this C wave that we're getting right now is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go ahead and say that I think the 42,000 zone to around the 49,000 zone is where Bitcoin is heading in the long term on the higher time frame, with that higher time frame head on there. Don't want to be getting drowned out too much on the daily time frame right now when we are looking at these higher time frame moves, because people back here who was doing exactly the same, getting drowned out in the daily time frame, thinking, oh no, we're gonna go down, this is it, we're gonna go down, they would have missed out on all of the major moves. So that was just a really quick video, guys, on some common misconceptions on the RSI. Most of the move actually occurs when we are so overbought or so oversold. So just keep an eye out for that, guys. Keep an eye out for people saying, oh, we're so overbought, we need to go down, They might be right, but that correction may not go down as far as they think. We could just get a nice simple expanding flat here for a nice 1, 2 or something like that, and continue the wave to the upside. And then when people start finally getting really bullish, after we've had these massive waves on the RSI, people finally get bullish up at around the 40,000 zone. That, in my opinion, is when we need to take caution. Don't think we really need to be too cautious right now, especially if you've been entering at the lows, taking into account how low we have entered the market. And I hope anyone who's been watching our analysis over the past couple of months has been able to benefit from that. So yeah, just a really quick video, guys, going through the RSI, some misconceptions, and showing how most of the move really does occur once we are in this oversold or overbought territory. So if you did like this kind of video, guys, give it a like, drop a comment, let me know what you think. Do you think the RSI is useful? Do you think it's useless? I don't know, it might be, it might not be, but again, it's not financial advice, and I will see you next time. Cheers.